Welcome to Azure Infinitum Podcasts. This is your host, Reika Fujishima, Master of Azure Infinitum. With us today is we have Mist, we have Nora, Osh, Baby Shoes, and Glitch. And we are here to talk about a bit about our Azure Day Weekend event that's coming up pretty soon. That is our two-day quarterly celebration in Final Fantasy XIV. It celebrates our entire community. And with that, we have a lot of minigames, races, prizes, parades, raffles, giveaways, contests, glamour show, all kinds of stuff lined up for this weekend. We hope that as many of you in our community can join us. There's going to be back-to-back events all day, both days, Saturday and Sunday, June 24th and 25th, starting at 12 p.m. PST, so that's 3 p.m. EST, 2 p.m. CST, and like I said, noon PST. That's the best time that we can start. It kind of covers a range of time zones, and then we go almost all the way to midnight. Like, there is a lot going on. So you can always check out the program guide at azureinfinitum.com. Check the third latest news post. That's the program guide. It's right there in the right corner of the screen. And it just covers everything there with events descriptions and everything, all the listings of events that we got going on. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a really good time. So we are going to talk about that a bit today. First off, we are going to start off talking a bit about this coming weekend, and starting with 12 p.m. when we begin on Saturday, June 24th, the Azure Day June 2023 opening ceremonies. We are going to gather in the yard. If you've been to an Azure Day before, know that we will start out with kind of like a slow opening, so that way it gives people time to kind of like get aware that maybe might be some folks that weren't following in game, and then they go, oh, something's happening. And we use the yard to bring them all together, and we do some raffles. We talk a bit about how Azure Day got started and a little bit about the free company, and then attending council members will give some comments on the weekend, and then we go right into all the fun. So starting at 1 p.m. on Saturday, we have the extremely super duper hide and seek elimination challenge, which I know is a mouthful, but that name that name started with our original hide and seek challenge.
Hrothgar shall hide in the bush.
Yeah, many years ago when we started hide and seek, and it turned into hide and seek elimination. Then it turned to super duper hide and seek because there was a stipulation that, and that was the only thing I could come up with at the time. Super duper hide and seek, and now it's this time. This is the extremely super duper hide and seek elimination challenge. So if you join us at 1 p.m. on Saturday in Final Fantasy XIV, we are going to have a elimination style hide and seek game. The locations are going to be ARR, Realm Reborn accessible areas. So anybody who just started the game, if you're real early on, you can come, no problem. Actually, most of our events are set up, most if not all, are set up that way. But we'll be announcing the location at the start time. We've got a couple of them prepared, so because we don't know how long the games are going to last. They could last, a little bit, or they could take like a minute. They usually don't last longer. Like a round usually doesn't last longer than 30 minutes max. Like that's usually like the range of getting started, taking 2 minutes to hide, and then. We don't know how fast people are going to get found or how clever. And we have some clever hiders, let me tell you. Some of them are here in the channel.
Haha.
Such as our resident Hrothgar Paladin, who you know, hides in trees, and nobody can find them for an hour.
Yeah, you don't know how we missed a giant Hrothgar in very white plate armor.
Oh my god, I have no idea.
We've done that twice now, actually.
I'm convinced that Misty has some kind of cloaking mechanism. I am convinced.
Just a giant... just a giant white and blue Hrothgar hiding in the bush. Plain sight. Like, just right there. No, not a...
But our Super Duper Hide and Seek Elimination Challenge does start out with the game beginning with one person seeking, and then slowly, as each person is found, they all will begin to join the Seekers. The game will eliminate everyone playing down to one person left who will win some big prizes from the Azure prize pool. So please look forward to it. An hour and a half after that, we have Speed Darts Elimination Tournament. So when you see darts on our Azure Day schedules, it stands for Diving at Random Target Scenario, and that is a clever abbreviation for a MMO classic called darts. And this actually goes back to like World of Warcraft and other guilds that have done this in the past. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't, but it's a cheap way of coming up with a game where people just jump off things, but you jump off towards a target, and you pick something that you could use as a bullseye, and then it's a way for you to fling your body off of a building and land on something. Don't do that in real life. That's not good. But in game,
do not try this at home.
Do not try that at home. Do not try that in real life. Do not do that.
We are trained professionals. Do not try this at home.
Try this at home.
Yep.
We do our own stunts.
Yep.
Suddenly, Adam Savage just runs past in the background, slams into a wall.
Yeah.
Wait, one thing about hiding that I can never forget is the story about Welcome to the Bush.
Oh yes.
The bush.
Since we're here on the podcast, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because we can tell our listeners about that and share the joy of that story with them as well.
So
in Azure Day, in the past, Azure Day of Eld, we had it was, where were we? Central Thanalan. And it was a hide-and-seek game going on, and the bushes were really popular. Like, a lot of people were hiding in bushes. And then there was this one moment where we saw this little tiny Lalafell face, like, sticking out, and I screenshot it and showed the Discord. We were all cracking up. But right after that, I went to the very next bush over by it's an area called the Clutch in Central Thailand. It's a little ways east, I think, or east or northeast of Blackbrush Station. And in that it's near the eastern Thanalan zone. There was a bush over there, and I'm just like walking by casually, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna check this bush. So I walk up to the bush, and a voice came out of it, like in text on the screen, just the say text that said, "Welcome to the bush." And it wasn't one of ours. Somebody was already hiding in there who wasn't even playing with us. And they didn't even know we were playing either. Like, they were just in there, and there was like two people. There was like an Ellison dude, and like somebody else in there. And they were just hanging out in the bush. Like, welcome to the bush. And I was just like laughing so hard. And
that's the beauty of MMOs right there.
Yeah.
That explains it right there.
I'm like, we already have people hiding in the bush. What are they doing in there? So I guess there's a party going on in the bush. But that's the welcome to the bush story. So whenever if you're in a community and you see that phrase come up, you'll know where that story comes from. It's one of those had to be there moments. It was pretty good. So Speed Darts Elimination Tournament.
Barrett shit nonsense.
The funny thing about Speed Darts, what does speed stand for?
Oh, yes.
Join us during an evening of Azure Darts game set on day one of Azure Day Weekend, starting at 2:30 p.m. PST. Grouping will begin at the FC Estate Lawn, as most events do. The location for the jumps, for the dart jumps, because it's a jumping game, that's going to be announced at the start time. We usually don't announce locations for things until we get there. Some of that is to prevent trolls, because yes, it has happened. People have decided to go ahead of us on our schedule and just gridlock areas, and they're in the way. So so we just wait until we get there to announce it.
The whole MMO thing, that's the other side of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So diving at random target scenario game, the speed version, takes an Azure Day classic where we have many bodies gathered at a certain point. We jump off the ledge, we ask them to jump to their doom, rain down, and then to a single target per round. Those who are closest to whatever is announced as bullseye will pass on to the following round. So there is several rounds. So it's kind of like elimination as well. A select number of attendees will be eliminated each round until 3 final attendees remain, who will win nights. Each will win nice prizes. And then the speed version of that, you guys will find out when we get there. It's going to be hilarious. So at 3 p.m., this is our technically our fourth event following opening ceremonies, but it's the third big activity that we're doing. Will be the Azure Day Masquerade and Glam Show. So that's 6 p.m. EST, 3 p.m. PST on Saturday. Figured that would be a really nice time slot for our event to take place for something like a glam show. Taking place at 3 p.m. PST, 6 p.m. EST is the Azure Day Masquerade and Glam Show. What's really awesome about this event is that we actually have a all-new Azure event venue. This was kind of a super secret project by one of our lieutenants, Lieutenant Major Payne. We have another mansion.
Shout out to Major.
Yes, shout out to Major for providing this awesome Azure mansion in Mist. So it's very easy to get to. There is 2 huge floors that are really awesome stages. They're brand new Azure stages that have been set up. One is specifically made for the glam show, so it has like an entire catwalk, a grouping area for attendees, like dressing rooms in the back. There is another stage upstairs that actually uses the middle area of the. It's normally an open area in the mansion, and he was able to float stuff in the air, basically, to create an extra floor up there, and it's really neat. We actually don't have the coordinates on me right now, but I can get there in game easily. If you're friends with Major, you can actually get a sneak peek now if you check the mansion for his. I don't know if it's registered as his FC. No, I think his FC is the one next to it. But he basically got plot 1 and plot 2.
Oh, you
in Mist.
dirty leaker! Yeah. You're going to get fired from Atlas right now.
Plot 1 and plot 2 in Mist, in the ward that he's in. And you can check it out ahead of time. Other than that, we are going to have a good time using that mansion for a couple different events. But the Masquerade and Glam Show, it's named Masquerade off of cosplay events, because a lot of people will host a cosplay masquerade at conventions. So we have cosplay is welcome at the Glam Show, especially if we have cosplay skits, which are even more entertaining sometimes. And then also walk-ons. Just if you want to show off some glam, if you got a really cool design you made, you just want to show it off and have your pictures taken. I usually try to take pics of everybody up there. We'll have group shots of everybody that attended it too, of their glams, and just, we use that on our media as well. So we will have judges, and we'll be scoring. So the highest scored contestants will win some really awesome prizes as well.
Made and or just grabbed off Eorzea collection for inspiration. We don't judge.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Eorzea collection is an awesome website that provides a lot of inspiration.
You have to grind that gear out.
How dare you?
You have to grind that gear out.
Some people do. They go really out of their way to try to get rare gear that, they want just that one small bracelet or something like that.
For sure, yep.
I'm pretty sure we have someone grinding literally Eureka just for...
Yeah, Eureka, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's the only reason why I want to do it.
Yeah. Oh, that was you.
Yep.
Does any of you
That's
have
the reason I want to do Eureka.
glam set up for the show?
We still have, really crazy specific things set up in the old hall where we could see the old winners.
Yeah, we did have our winners hall. It was like a separate room that had mannequins that were displaying the original glamours of past winners of past Azure Day Masquerade and Glam Show. It's really nice. Unfortunately, rest in peace, Akio's mansion.
Yeah.
The guy in our community who was, ex-lieutenant Akio Onishi in our community. RIP. We're so sorry to hear about his mansion. The demolitions came back and he was 1 day late. 1 day. It can happen to the best of us. It was 1 day. It was 1 day.
Yeah.
It was 24 hours
God,
late.
that's terrible.
Yeah, it sucked. So if those out there who are in a community, been in here for at least a year or two or more, if you're wondering why we're using a new event venue, that is the reason. So we don't have to worry about going to Kugane or Shirogane, I should say Shirogane, for that. But so it will be a little easier to get to. But we, you know, pour one out for the old Masquerade Hall.
Yeah.
In Akio's mansion. So
going down my throat.
We gotta get through this list. So Azure Day auction, Bluebird round. This is something that actually hasn't been in our community for a minute. The auction has, just not in very recent Azure Days, but it's been a staple ever since the beginning. In fact, the Azure Day auction was one of the very first Azure Day events ever, back when Azure Day was much more rough form.
So many zoo horns.
And what we did was we created a low ballers round and a high ballers round. So that's basically what the Bluebird and Leviathan is. So you'll see the Leviathan auction is listed on the Sunday program, and the Bluebird is listed for the Saturday. And that's basically we provide a bunch of items up for auction, and they all value under 200K, so they could be anywhere between 20 and 200K. And all proceeds go to the chest. That helps us with future event funding when we need to build stuff like stages, and it takes tons of time and gil to invest. Member needs like gear to help someone get in an event that shows up, so we have another attendee. Little things like that. Sometimes it's a housing project, sometimes it's a material that we need for something to help someone at the last second. Whatever that is, it all goes to our chest and helps with those things. So the auction gives us a really nice boost in our chest funds, and the more chest funds we have, the bigger, better things we can do. So this auction is also fun for helping provide those who are attending, who are bidding, our bidders. It will help our bidders obtain items that you might get a really good deal. Like you might get something that's worth 200K for 20 if nobody wants it, or you know you bid 20, 40, 60K and you get a zoo horn for 60K. That's a 200 to 300,000 gil item. So there will be things like that. There will also be item sets too, and there's no telling if those item sets, each individual item is under 200K. Not saying how much, but the sets themselves might together be worth more than 200K, but the items are 200K. So that means you might score a million gil in glamour for very cheap, under 200K. So there's some really good stuff we've got planned for the Bluebird auction. Same thing goes for the Leviathan auction the next day, except for their items worth over 200K. But all bids in general, they have to be within 20, 40, 60, etc. Multiples of 20. And we do have a fun feature where you can do something that we call a limit break in the auction, and that means you can bid as much as you want at one time, but as soon as you go over that million mark, and you can go as far over the million mark as you want, but once you go over that million mark, you're done, because we have a spending limit. That makes it fair for folks that don't have tons and tons of gil, because we've had people show up with 200 million before and buy everything. So that was a long time ago, but
that makes me think of the auction house in
that was before my time.
Exactly. It was all
I can think of. All I can think of is the auction house from Wind Waker.
Yeah,
and you outbuild everybody and it just stuns them the whole time.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. Nice. Yeah, like I said, Azure Days of Eld, there was some pretty crazy stuff going on. We had night Pegasus whistles coming out the yin yang with 50 million gil bids, and it was crazy.
That was before my time.
It was.
We did one.
It was before
not too long ago.
All of you
got up to 20 mil.
Yeah, I think 72 mil I think was the highest bid one time, and 2017 I think it was. Anyway, so we got that coming up at 4 p.m. That's the auction, at the Bluebird auction for low ballers at 4 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. EST on Saturday. The next event following that is our parade. So there's a lot of folks that know. Wait, do I have the parade listed as 2 times? Oh, the first one was meant to be. Whoa, why did I do that? I'm looking at an issue here.
If you need some Realm Reborn red spray during the parade, let me know. I've got thousands of them.
Oh, you know what? I accidentally copy and pasted the wrong thing. I need to edit that and announce that change. So on our program currently, it might not be that way by the time this podcast episode comes out, but we have a thing. It's supposed to be the grouping for the parade 15 minutes beforehand and the parade after that, but I accidentally copied two listings for Azure Day Parade in a row.
It looks like it's just the title that needs to be changed.
It looked fine on the website.
Oh,
yeah,
it is a title.
Description seems fine.
Okay, so yeah, it is a title. Okay, I'm gonna change that. Okay, so 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST. That is going to be the gathering for the parade, and we try to spend a little bit of time getting folks in place. Usually we will start off at the amphitheater in Gridania. It's a really nice place to start our parade grouping, and then we have a route that will go all the way back home to Mist, but it'll travel through all the major ARR cities and quite a few locations. What's really cool about our parade is you might think, oh well, what about when you're out in the middle of nowhere and there's not many people out there? Well, there's a couple fun things that happen with that. One, it is like a it's an old MMO hobby called RP walking, which basically is kind of like, there's no need to really walk in the game, but we're marching as a parade. We're celebrating our free company, and as we march, what's really neat is you obviously hardly ever see that many people in one area. So what's really cool is the screenshot opportunities, and then also sometimes you find that you might not have stopped to really look at the surroundings that long, and it's just kind of neat when we have a sunset coming up and the parade is marching towards it, or you might have just a really nice lighting with everybody there. And of course it's Azure Day, so a lot of people are wearing blue, a lot of people are wearing the tabards that we give out. That'll be free all weekend, as while supplies last. And
while supplies
last. we do have a lot of them, but it will be while supplies last. But it is kind of nice for photo ops and just to kind of appreciate the surroundings. And then when we get to the cities, bam, we all pour in, and it's really, really nice. Also another fun thing too, and you guys are probably thinking the same thing. When we encounter random people out in the middle of nowhere with this huge Azure parade going by, sometimes they join the free company. And sometimes they just are like amazed, and then sometimes they walk with us, and it's really fun when they walk with us. So if you are like listening to this and you're not in the free company, or you're an ally or somebody that just wants to pop over Midgard Stormer and just walk with us, you could always walk with us in our parade. We do parade stops at certain variable locations, mostly pubs and adventurers guilds, and we also do raffles too. So we'll have a lot of fun stuff going on at the parade stops.
And blacks out and wakes up there.
We got some excellent stuff in the prize pool to throw out during those parade stop raffles. So following that is our commemorative screenshot, and that's the big group screenshot we're known for. That commemorates the weekend, and whatever portion of the roster was able to enjoy that weekend with us. Even if it's just the screenshot, like say you got to go to work, but you got to leave your character sitting there in place at our grouping point, that you could do that too. We've had that happen many times. So we do our best to include. We do our best to include everybody. So but if you are one of those who can't make it but want to leave your character there or something of that sort, let us know ahead of time, because like I said earlier, we don't announce the location until we get there, for good reasons. So I will tell you privately if you're like, I really gotta go, but I'm gonna leave my game on, then I'll tell you where to stand. So we try, like I said, we try to include everybody as much as possible. We'll get a nice big shot.
Rick, I remember at Azure Day where we had somebody join, like their very first day, they just joined us after the parade. And at that point, the glam contest was directly after. They won the glam contest after.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, they're like, wow, this is a really cool parade. What's going on here? Joins the parade, follows us all the way to the next event, wins the next event.
Really cool dude.
Also, the dude who showed up when we were doing the parade one time, and we did speed runs for the first time.
Yes.
He wasn't part of the FC. Got paired up with Lucky.
Oh yeah, we needed an extra body.
And they won.
Yeah, and they won. Yeah, they won. We're like, we really need one extra body, and you've been here with us celebrating, so come along. Yeah. I think I gave him something nice too, just because he was really cool. So we're cool like that. So okay, so we got the parade followed by the screenshot, and then before the night ends, we've got not one, but 2 card events, and that starts with the Triple Triad Tournament at 7:45 p.m. PST. It's 10:45 p.m. EST. Sorry, Eastern folks, that's all we could do to fit it in that weekend, was get it at that time, but hopefully it's not, too late. It is Saturday night, so maybe you come to our late night Triple Triad Tournament, and you might be thinking, oh, I'm not good at Triple Triad. I don't even know where to begin. Well, let me tell you this. We have reverse rules. So if you've been to an Azure Day before, and you might remember us saying that anybody can get into this, even if you have a starter deck. Even if you have a starter deck. Now, I know some pros out there might be going, but you got to have a little more than a starter deck. Well,
hey,
a starter deck at least gets you in.
Last time I got down to like 3rd place with almost no cards.
And when I say starter deck, I mean the default stuff that they give you when you unlock it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to really do that much. I would suggest building a deck with as many cards with low numbers as you can. And the reason why we do this is because it makes it easier for people to get in if low is high and high is low. And that's what we do. So we set reverse rules. That means you want to try to get your numbers as low as possible on your cards, and you might have a shot. You never know. We also do when we have their best of 3s. So even if you lose your first game, the next round, or lose your first round, the next round you have another chance. And if we have a tie, we will do tiebreakers in the form usually of chaos, which is makes people play cards at random.
Must kill chaos.
Yep. Yeah, you must kill chaos. So Fallen Triad event is our late night online Discord event. So this was the one event that's not in game. It is going to be held in Discord, and that is, I can hear Osh is excited already. Cards Against Eorzea. It's our 18+ event. So obviously we're trusting that those who attend it are 18+. Come in at your own discretion. You have been warned. Cards Against Eorzea is based on Cards Against Humanity. So we call it Cards Against Eorzea because we're using an online free-to-play Cards Against Humanity-like game that is pretty much the same thing, but it allows, I think, a good 20 or so of us to pile in to one room and have a nice big chunky awesome Cards Against Humanity game with the FC. So Cards Against Eorzea is an event that also has prizes, so there are prizes attached to this that you can win in game from us, from our prize pool, if you're with us during Cards Against Eorzea.
Wait, we have prizes this time?
We have prizes for this. Yes, we do.
Honestly,
first time we've ever had prizes for this. Oh shit!
In a while, yeah, in a while. It's been a minute. Originally, what we would do back when they were, I don't know why we picked this item or these items, but back in the day when we started doing Cards Against Eorzea, we had a couple different variations of it. We even had an in-game one where everything was typed out and it took forever. But one of the very first ones, it took a million years, but we did a very long time ago. Like I said, a lot of stuff in our FC has been trial and error up the yin yang.
Hey.
but we found the I think it was.
That's why we're awesome though.
What, 2018 or something like that, when we found the online one, and then we brought it back a couple years later.
The last time that we played, Meemaw nearly killed me with laughter. With the cards.
Shout out to Meemaw.
Oh yeah, our resident Noir Skylock fellow founder. Meemaw is when we can get Meemaw into cards, it's a blast. It's a blast, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Meemaw is Noir is a chunkless swinging, no holds barred grandmother of the FC.
One time
who has every mount day one.
One time I was being dumb and I was like, haha, Meemaw, you can't get me. I'm on top of I'm halfway up to Kugane Tower. She was halfway up
range climb Kugane Tower just to get glitched.
Oh, that sounds like Nor. Yeah.
Yeah. Meemaw made me my chest piece in my pants, and every time I look at them in my inventory, I'm like, my Meemaw made me those.
That is awesome.
Meemaw's the best.
Hardcore Meemaw. Yep.
She gives me cookies and apple juice every time she.
All the time.
Yep. Yeah, and if whoever's listening, or even you guys here, if you've been looking at Azure Storyblog, which became Azure Chronicles on our site, it started off last anniversary. I started compiling a lot of old screenshots, and there's also an old journal where a lot of the text, not now, but up until a certain point, was coming from an old journal of mine. and I was just kind of converting it into a Discord channel. And it starts off with my adventures prior to Azure, leading into the creation of Azure, and we just reached the creation of Azure in the channel because I update it about I try to update it a couple times a week. It just depends on how much I can spend time at my computer with my old drive, but right now, if you know, we're just slightly after the creation of Azure. We're like days after the creation of Azure in the story currently, and you can see. Speaking of Mima, you can see Mima way back then, and we're in like 2014 right now in the story. So throughout all of history, you're going to see some pretty funny escapades of good old Mima Noir Skylock. You know how she came to be called Mima was way back when, and actually around the time period that the Azure Chronicles is at right now, she started joking by saying, you know, Reika's wild partying schoolgirl ways and all this stuff like that, and would start emoting, like shaking her cane at the hippity hoppity butt shaking youngsters on the lawn and stuff like that.
She did a lot of that with me when Osh first got into the FC.
Yeah, she does it to a lot of people. Yeah, I know. It's like no matter how much time passes, like decades are going by. Mima's the same.
You gotta get hazed through Mima.
Like I walk past and she's like, I sense hooligans.
Right?
Oh, you know what was funny?
That's why tomfoolery only lives.
For a couple years, Noir actually was out of the FC and in a raiding group, but Noir had a FC that had a house in Mist. And I think it might still be there, but it's just a group that's not active anymore. But during those years, we wouldn't physically see Noir, but Noir would just somehow know that Azure was like grouping for events in the yard and would shout all the way across from Mist, "I hear whippersnappers out there!" We would see that in the middle of event grouping, and it was
that was Mima doing that?
Mima used to do that a lot. Yeah, I hear whippersnappers and just stuff like that while we were grouping during those years.
Yeah, I was always wondering who the fuck is that.
And then Noir. And then I was like, It was still under Noir's name, but Noir returned to us for Summerfest of 2020, I think, or 2021. I think it was 2021, and returned to us calling Azure her retirement home.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah. It was like 2021.
Because she allegedly stopped raiding, but I don't see that.
No.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
No. Mima's at one time at least ran with me and Nora.
Yeah. Yes, we had the pleasure of having Mima in our static for a while.
Yeah, the funniest thing too was Noir, Mima running around in the midst of the Bajan War, like when we were doing Zadnor, and ships are flying over, stuff's blowing up, and then Noir wasn't even there for grouping, and like we started needing like some help on one of the fades or something, and like Mima comes barreling in and like saves the day. It was another funny memory.
Wow.
Yeah, like one time, like literally maybe a couple weeks in, no, not a couple weeks, like when Mima started trying in earnest, I think she cleared Pietas, got them out.
Yeah, no.
I'm just like,
she's one of those that clears the tier basically as soon as it drops.
Yeah, Noir is very hardcore.
Like quintuple legend, something like that.
I have known Noir in several games, and not just 14.
She's at least a quad legend.
Noir is very, very, very dedicated to games, and I can vouch for that through a few different games. And they're not all MMOs either. Some of them are offline games, and it still impresses me. So
I just remember my first time realizing that she was Mima. I can't remember who it was. I think I'd only been in the FC for like a couple of months. And someone in the FC chat, I can't think of this. Do you remember? I think it was Felis or somebody like that. It was like, yeah, Mima, and that's why you're a Mima. Just like laughing, and I'm like, who are they talking about?
I know, because they're like Mima.
Yeah, like Mima, like somebody's grandma.
Like someone's grandma.
Like, yeah, and then maybe like a couple of days later, I was talking to Noir. Noir gave me the cookies and the apple juice, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because Noir goes around giving out little black mage cookies and apple juice.
And I was like, oh,
we are the smallest Lalas you can be.
Yeah, I made Baby Shoes the biggest. Baby Shoes is a.
I remember when I first started doing Savage.
Yeah,
Shoes is bigger.
Now glitch. Don't go crazy with power.
Yeah, yep. I'm the Roganin of Lalafels.
Oh my god.
So for June 25th, Sunday, we are starting off with one more parade because one's not enough. We got to do two, but it's also there for the folks that didn't make the first one. So we do have folks that may not be available on Saturday or the time that the parade was on Saturday, and we started a little earlier on Sunday. So we have a little bit of a gathering and a raffle off. This one is a little bit of a longer gathering since there'll be a longer raffle, and then also try to get as many people for that grand finale type parade. It's the very last parade of the weekend. And then following that parade, we will do just about the same thing, but we'll have a slightly different route. That way it does mix up stuff for those that are coming back to the parade for a second time. So it'll be a little bit of a different experience. So win-win. Then that will follow our day 2 commemorative screenshot. And the nice thing is that we do a screenshot also at an earlier time. This makes it to where those who were available the previous day for that screenshot can make it at 2:30 p.m. PST, 5:30 p.m. EST for this screenshot. So where we were having the glamour show the previous day at the same time. Following that is an event that could be its own standalone event and has before, but we included it in Azure Day Weekend, as old tradition has been, and that is the Azure Grand Duel Tournament 22. This is the 22nd time we've done a bracketed official tournament, and it does have prizes, and it does have a very special optional prize at the end. I wanted to read off the rules real quick because the description's not up yet. I was waiting to catch up with our champion, Phelan Breeze.
Please do. Is this PvP?
Yes. This is the Grand Duel Tournament PvP rules. So, Phelana,
this is 1v1.
This is Lana.
This is Lana. So, as of yesterday, our champion has delved into what the rules will be. So, gamers, PvPers, duelists, degens, all of the above, come one, come all to the Azure Grand Duel Tournament 22, taking place June 25th, 2023 at 3 p.m. PST, 6 p.m. EST. Fight in a bracketed duel tournament in the Midgard Stormer Wolves Den Pier. The winner of the tournament will walk away with 4 million gil. Whoever makes it through all three, well, actually we don't know because it depends on the attendees, but the brackets. So you make it through the brackets, you win your matches. The matches are all best out of 3. You can win 4 million gil and a set of FC credit exclusive housing items. Those are only items available to FCs with lots of credits. We will be collecting a package of those to go with the 4 million gil prize. And there's more. If you are a tournament victor, you have the chance to duel Phelana Breeze in a best out of 5 match for the title of Infinitum Champion, which does come with a special rank in the FC that highlights you above all the others of your current rank. So if you are a member and you're a champion, you will be listed first before all the other members, and so on and so forth. So the rules are relatively simple, but take a moment to listen. All classes permitted except for Paladin. That's because if Paladins are in the game, it's going to last forever.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Phelana didn't like my idea of making round 1 last until JP FanFest.
Yeah. So number 2, all limit breaks are okay except for monks, red mages, and reapers. For these 3 classes, limit breaks are only allowed against those of the same classes. So a machinist can use a limit break against a monk, but a monk cannot use a limit break against a machinist. However, a monk can use a limit break against a reaper. So it's like a weapon triangle of limit breaks. It's a little confusing at first, but these rules are actually posted in the PvP channel right now, so you can check them at any time. It's very, very recent. I doubt they'll be too buried. Oh, they are pinned. Phelana pinned them to the PvP channel in our Discord. 3.
Wait, Rick, does that mean that I can use White Mage?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
1 elixir is permitted per fight, if you can get it off. 4, best of 3 matches, best of 5 for the final, and best of 5 for the champion match. So we want to make sure that that final win of the tournament is a nice chunky match. And also the champion match, which will take place right after immediately for the victor, whoever that will be, is also best of 5. All ring outs end in a do-over unless it's repeated intentionally. In that case, it'll be an instant loss. To participate in this, all you have to do is come over to the Wolves Den Pier early and just wait at the duel ring. When I say early, I mean any time leading up to the time that we start, because the start time will be the time that we start calling for brackets, which comes in the form of a random rule that I will initiate. All you have to do is type /random. It'll put it's the same the way we do our flash raffles. It'll put a number in the chat box, and I will use that number to determine where you place on the bracket. And it's all randomly decided. I just do the math to put people where they rolled. So, if you have any questions at all, you can contact Phelana Breeze in our Discord. Phelana is a general, so Phelana does have the little shield symbol with the blue name. Also, you can contact me for any questions as well. May the best duelist win for the glory of the Azure skies.
Sick.
So that is our Grand Duel Tournament 22. Another fun thing too, if we have a new champion, if someone manages to clear the tournament and beat Phelana, then we will have a new listing on our champions page as well. And if anyone listening or any of you guys here want to read about the old champions of Eld, we have a page for that on the website. It is right under if you go to the community tab and you go down right past the podcast page is the champions page. It lists all previous Azure champions, when they won, what years they were active, and how they won their matches and what their rounds were like. There's a lot of information on there. So we would like to see more names get added to that page. That's not me saying that I want Phelana to lose, but we would like to see more people on that page.
Isn't Lana like multiple years?
Phelana is currently our longest reigning champion.
I think it's been at least 2 years. I think.
Let me see here really quick while we're here. I have it open right here. Let me scroll back up. So, fun fact, Phelana Breeze is... So, Phelana first won the title in November of 2020. And then Phelana lost it to Lucinda, also known as Safarium in our FC. And Lucy/Cepha had it until May. So that was February of 2021 to May of 2021. So a few months there until we had the next tournament, because normally we would do our tournaments at Azure Days, which are about every quarter. So that's 3 to 4 months. This is something we're bringing back because it was on hiatus for a bit. So now that it's back, who knows, maybe we'll see more champions. But in May of 2021 until now, until the present time, Phelana has been the champ. So being a champ means you're listed on our page, means that you get that special rank. And what's really nice is if we have a champ who is involved, really involved in our whole tournament and PvP scene. That is always really nice too. Okay, and let me see here. The next one, let me go back down the list. Next, we're going to quickly, we don't really have to explain Leviathan because we explained the other ones, and then we just got Trivia Rush and a couple more. Hold on, I think someone's knocking. One sec.
Oh. Guys.
What?
I'm so excited.
Right?
I'm so excited about this. It's beyond exciting.
For the PvP thing?
I hope you're talking about Azure Day and not the other thing that you're talking about.
Oh, I'm excited about both things.
Odd.
But I will not talk about here. I'm very excited about Azure Day. I'm really excited that they're allowing me to use White Mage, because I have had 80 or so victories as White Mage in Crystalline Conflict. I'm a murder hobo. I'm not sure how I do with 1v1s, but 1v group, pretty good.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
I'm super excited to be able to use White Mage in
that was a false alarm.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty.
I'm excited to use it in PvP.
Excited to use what?
Oh, be able to use White Mage, because I've been playing...
Oh, yeah, White Mage. Yes.
Yeah. I have 8 or so victories on White Mage in Crystalline Conflict as that. So
nice.
So I'm hoping that I can bring bring my white mage skills to a 1v1 and see how I do.
Yeah, we've seen healers make a we've seen healers make a dent in the tournament. We've seen them go quite a ways before it's been possible. Sometimes it depends, you know, on what point of the game that we're in and how those classes are doing in PvP. But we have seen them go quite a ways. So we've got our Azure Day Auction Leviathan round at 5 p.m. PST. That's 8 p.m. EST. And just like the Bluebird one we were talking about earlier, that's for the big spenders. Make sure that you pay attention to the bid amounts. We do have, you know, it will be 20K just like the previous day's auction, but all items are valued over 200K. So there is a 2 million gil limit as opposed to the 1 million gil limit from the previous day, because it's all big items. So,
so guys,
what's that?
If you go to maps, you may be able to get some extra gil in.
Yes.
Yeah.
just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
That's my dilemma right now, because I still don't have the glam from the recent changes they made.
Oh, yeah.
I think those are still worth quite a pretty penny.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and it might even appear in the auction too. You never know.
You never know.
But following that auction, we've got the return of a very silly game that we have called Azure Trivia Rush. However, previously we had Azure Trivia Rush Revised Edition, which was revised from the original edition, and now we have Azure Trivia Rush Monstrous Mayhem RPG Revised DX Edition.
Are you going to be bringing back the Demon Wall?
So here's the thing. The Demon Wall was a mechanic where basically we would bring up a partition that would have a Demon Wall furnishing on it, and it would slowly inch towards the contestants. Because we have a stage set up at Sebastian and Alice's mansion, bottom floor, where you can see the Trivia Rush stage. It's basically a stage with an audience area and lanes for those that are racing in Trivia Rush. Trivia Rush means you get a 20-second count on a random trivia question, and the first person in the lanes who gets it right, or at least post something that's recognizable, because sometimes, you know, typing really fast, it's like on the keyboard and it might just be like a little bit misspelled, but as long as we can tell what it is, that person will get to move up a square, and your goal is to get to the red carpet with all the gold at the very end of the line. But a Demon Wall could appear based on some boxes we have in the lanes, like Mario Kart. When you go through the lane, you might touch a box, and that box might give you a random perk. It could be a attack against the other people in the lanes. Basically, when someone gets to a box, I remove it, so it looks like it actually disappears, and it does. And then they random. So the random roll corresponds to my list of perks and attacks that they could use. And sometimes they don't have to use it right away. Sometimes they can save it. Mistithgar actually got the ultimate legendary sword, and then he kept it, and so it never came back to the game because it's sitting in his closet somewhere. But the legendary sword was able to basically, I think if I remember correctly, it could basically just like remove any Demon Wall with one shot. It had a few different abilities, but just being silly there. So there are a lot of fun things. There is a poison effect, there is a slow effect, there's all these different SAS effects known to Final Fantasy, but the last one we did had a Tonberry mechanic. So instead of a Demon Wall, there were Tonberries coming closer and closer.
Yes, that was great.
I think the small irony is that, like, I think we actually got the Tonberry outfit.
Yeah,
right,
yeah, we did. We did, yeah.
Yeah, we did. But this was it should be noted that our very own Lagnus decided to actually RP as the Tonberry.
Yep, so we had a real Tonberry moving closer and closer.
That probably could have won the glamour contest.
Yep.
I love my friend being just the little menace that he is.
If you know Final Fantasy, you know that Tonberries will slowly inch towards you, and when they get to you, they do 99999, or however much damage, you know, a lot of damage, all nines usually, to kill you. So the way the mechanic in the game is set up is where the Tonberry starts at the farthest point possible, and every question it starts coming closer and closer and closer.
I'm terrified of that thing ever since Final Fantasy X.
And there's a way to defeat it. Yeah.
Where it literally stoned. I hadn't been stoned. It stabbed me, killed my character, and the character was gone after that. I am scarred for life from Tonberries.
I think the one that freaked me out the most was Final Fantasy VIII because it was all trying to be like realistic looking.
Yeah.
And then that thing would stab you with the big cartoony like doink,
and then you die horribly.
Yeah, it like took me out of it.
So the Monsters Mayhem RPG means that there might be some new monsters known to Final Fantasy that might have their own mechanics. Maybe we'll see something that explodes, or maybe we'll see something with bad breath. Who knows? Who knows? But as we say, it's time to rush. Trivia Rush, our strategic trivia racing game. I don't know if it's Morbin time or not. more bowling time. Yep. So this will be
knows what I'm about.
Based on Trivia Rush Ultimate Revised Edition, and it will have more lanes, more intense trivia, and more ways to win. Prizes do include 1,000,000 gil and a high tier prize from the Azure prize pool, so that's exciting. The newest edition does lower some of the difficulty, so we want to make sure that questions are actually easier in general. There are things that you don't have to really know a whole lot about the game or FF to get. So we're gonna try to make it as easy as possible. But that's not saying that there might be some things here and there that somebody, if you've truly never played a certain game, even if you haven't paid attention to like pop culture or the series in general, you might not know. But like I said, there are perks. There are ways to get around some things. There's skips involved that can be obtained through the boxes, things like that. So come all, try your hand. If you're not super good at trivia, you might be surprised. We've had a couple people get kind of far who didn't know some things, but they got really lucky here and there, so you never know. It is easy to deal maximum damage to hard questions and release a horde of monsters that might create mayhem across the lanes throughout multiple attendees that they will have to defeat in this trivia RPG. However, one disclaimer: does not feature Dante from Devil May Cry.
No.
So before our closing ceremonies at 9 p.m. PST, 12 midnight EST, taking place at 7:45 p.m. PST, 10:45 EST, is our final game of the night for Sunday night. That is Need for Speedgens. So that, if you notice that we haven't had Need for Speedgens on anywhere else on the list, that's why. It is our finale. Finale for Sunday. And Need for Speedgens became an Azure Day staple back in 2017 or so. It was started out with the idea of speedrunning dungeons and then creating two-man groups that can speedrun using unsynced. And then basically the clock will tick each round. Surviving duos earn a grand prize. What we do is we'll also host this game on the terrace upstairs, where we group for the low-level maps, so just outside the FC hall, and we can get a clear view of which group comes out last, which one materializes last, and that one will be eliminated until we have one final group, and we'll have some nice prizes for the team that survives. And of course, our closing ceremony and final raffle off after that, and the final prizes. Maybe if there's something that was unwon, or which that's rare, but if there was any auction items that were donated afterwards, they might go into some raffles. We just do a huge chunk of raffles at the end and make some final statements. So everybody is welcome to come and share their thoughts about Azure. Maybe if there's any messages of appreciation or ideas or feedback for the events that we had this weekend, they're all welcome at that closing ceremony. And that, as they say, is that, in the great words of Machen from Final Fantasy X. So, love that guy. I love that guy. So, I wish that guy would read audiobooks. Seriously. It would be amazing.
And remember, guys, while you're gaming, stay hydrated. It is starting to be summer, and especially here, like where I am, it's hot as hell. So please stay hydrated, stay safe while gaming, gamers.
Yes, and to those of us who celebrate, I know it's a big weekend for it. Happy Pride.
Yep. And keep in mind, all these fun things are the 24th and 25th this weekend, and they all start at 12 p.m. PST, 2 p.m. CST, and 3 p.m. EST. So 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern, and they run all the way through the day, and there's no pressure for anybody to attend all the events. There's no pressure to attend at all. We just want people to have fun. So if you can pop in any time of the day and you see what's going on, you know, you can ask what's going on or use the program here. You know, it'll all be listed. Actually, it is all listed. We've got one thing to update, and that's just the tournament rules. Put them on the site, but those will be up there by the time we start. So that is Azure Day Weekend. That is everything that we have planned for you guys listening, those joining our community, those who are in our extended group that might want to come by and check us out, or those who randomly find us online somewhere, or maybe hear this on YouTube and want to join the game. Everybody's welcome to come hang out. Prizes are reserved for our community, though. That's something I have to say. I have to put that out there, because they are most of the time donated by our community members for the community. But that doesn't mean that we can have guests or folks in the parade, or folks that might want to, you know, if we do need an extra body for something, you know, just hang out with us, have a good time, join our VC. We're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be a lot of fun celebrating Azure. So. All right, so that is our weekend that's slotted to come up here. Did you guys have any like closing ideas or thoughts or anything you'd like to say about Azure Day Weekend here before we end?
I am looking forward to the PvP. I'm trying to pick if I'm going to go with Dancer or Gunbreaker. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, the tournament's going to be fire.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Sorry, what was that glitch?
I hope that we have the lore of Azure, honestly, because you had a time where you learned what Bad Dragon was, or
that was a thing. That was a thing.
Yeah, that was very much a
there's a screenshot somewhere where it was me and Ori doing the PvP fight. It was Monk versus Red Mage, and her Verholy did 0 damage to me because that was before they rebuilt Monk. So like. Like, it was scary because a monk doing, like, Verholy is like the big attack from Red Mage, and yet it did 0 damage to a monk. It was, so that screenshot I still have somewhere. Definitely a good time in PvP.
Yeah, just Reika's voice as she had that dawning realization of what Bad Dragon was.
She sounded so put out. It was so funny.
Unfortunately, we haven't figured out how to screenshot text conversations or VC convos yet.
Right. Well, then I googled it, see what we were talking about, and yeah.
Yeah, what are we talking about, guys? What is Team Bad Dragon ice cream?
The ice cream part confused me. That confused me.
Ice cream part okay.
Confused everyone. That's actually a bit of Wondrous Tales Wednesday.
It is a Wondrous Tales Wednesday joke, where one day I had 2 thoughts. We were fighting Nidhogg, and I wanted ice cream. Okay, and I said I had 2 thoughts. I wanted ice cream, and I wanted to give Bad Dragon, which was Nidhogg, the ice cream. Okay, so but it came out of my mouth as I want Bad Dragon ice cream.
Oh, that's how it started.
And Osh, without
a beat,
without missing a beat, says, "What does it taste like? Silicon and shame?" And it is stuck ever since.
Yes. As the keeper of Wondrous Tales Wednesday, this is official lore now. It is part of our training now for Wondrous Tales.
They now mess with me because I didn't know what a Venn diagram was either. So they're like, "What's a Venn diagram?" So it's like, "What's a Venn diagram?"
Just wait until I tell them about vectors.
Oh, please no.
Nora, what are you looking forward to the most this weekend?
In terms of Azure Day, I think I'm looking forward most to, well, whatever happens with Trivia Rush. I gotta run it back after last time.
Oh,
Some of
okay.
those other Final Fantasy games got me good in the last
Nora,
one.
you were beating the tar out of all of us with your fast typing.
Yeah, Nora is one of our,
I
like...
started asking about FF6 and FF8,
Yeah.
and just allowed Karen to run away with it.
Oh, let's see, making a
Nora,
note here. No, I'm just kidding.
as a machinist main, she is literally the fastest fingers in the West.
I believe it. I've seen it through Trivia Rush.
You have to be to play Machinist and
so
Savage.
It is Trivia Rush for a reason. It is a rush. You gotta type pretty quick. But like I said, even if it's just something recognizable, you know,
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed too was I never got around to explaining what we originally gave away for Cards Against Eorzea. We originally gave away the list of airships, the airship figurines that you can get. Those used to be really expensive and really rare, and they took a lot of crafting and items that were expensive.
Yeah.
So it was like over a couple million for the whole set. That just somehow, like, it became the traditional thing to give away a whole list of airships for Cards Against Eorzea. So we do have prizes for that, and it'll be a lot of fun here this Saturday night.
I still have that entire army that you gave me for the time that I won the ship naming contest.
Oh, and you won a bunch of ships for that. Yeah. We might need to do that again sometime soon. Actually, it's been a while.
Sitting in my SC room.
Thank you. I was trying to remember the name. The flap flap.
The
Majestic flat flap, and now we have the Majestic flat flap like 2.0 or something.
Super majestic.
Yeah, the
super
majestic.
And the Pegasus Yeet Cannon.
The Pegasus Yeet Cannon Supreme, yes. Which there's a bit of lore to that, but I'll let you just talk to me and Glitchy about that. We're not going into
maybe a future episode. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Sorry, did you have something, Glitch?
No, it's okay.
I mean to cut you off. Okay. So, all right, you guys. Thank you for listening to this episode. This is all we had time for this time, but our podcast will get back to a more regular schedule again. So look forward to the next episode. We are going to be talking a lot about recent game announcements, industry news, things that have been announced recently. We have been saving for a really chunky Diablo 4 discussion, so please look forward to that. We're going to put a lot into that on the next episode.
I got a PS5.
Ooh, hey!
So I got a little review of that.
You getting ready for 16?
Yeah.
Actually, I got the bundle.
Oh, nice.
Yoshi P tempered me into buying a PS5.
Oh, he tempered you.
Yoshi P tempered me as well.
Completely tempered me. I had no plans on getting one.
It's the looking forward to it, Primal.
PS5 got the collector's edition of 16.
It has the statue thing.
Oh boy, I'm looking forward intensifies.
Yep.
Yeah, I know Ari already posted a picture of the statue, but wow, it
looks nice. Yeah.
After we're done here, I'm going to put it next to that Ultimate High Seraph one that I got off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. They're definitely really nice the way they make those. It's the one that came with the 16 collector's edition. Is that a Meister quality figure or?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It is.
Is it on the box?
It's Ifrit versus
It probably
Phoenix.
is. Yeah. I've seen it. I just didn't know if it was part of their, because they have this series of most of the figures that they've given for the 14 collector's editions, and a few other ones out there are the Square Enix Meister quality line. So I didn't know if that one was or not. But
let's see. Oh, hi, Glitch. I think it just says premium.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's all the time that we have today. We want to thank everybody for listening, and thank you all here who came with us, as well as Osh and Misty, who had to run earlier. Thank you guys for listening to our podcast.